So, right. Table's a bit wobbly. So, I hope you're all doing well. My name's Kenley, if you don't know. This is the second video right, just trying to get it level. So this is the second video to follow on basically from the one previous to this. I don't know the exact title, maybe I should, but I don't. So, but it was similar to this one, and it's just basically picking up where I left off. So, let me just turn this down. Got some relaxing bird music on. I like it because it's got thunder sound effects on. Right, so if you don't know, my channel is basically a mixture, mainly trying to bring truth to light, or you know, whatever you want to call it. Trying to give something back, if you like, health-wise. I used to believe in doctors and the healthcare service and, you know, medications and all that. Previously, before the journey that I'm still, you know, basically I'm still on that journey, is the fruit detox journey. So that's the majority of what my channel is all about. So, you know, if anyone out there is struggling with autoimmune symptoms and, you know, trying to narrow what I mean by that down is, let's just say, quite a difficult task, because for one, they differ from person to person depending on lifestyle, age, genetics, and, you know, like metabolism and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's quite hard in that sort of sense, but there is recurring and sort of common patterns or symptoms. I don't know whether it could help them. So, yeah. I also share a little bit of art, but I will be doing more than just shorts on art and stuff. Just got a lot going on at the minute. I like to do reading, a lot of research about all sorts of things that interest me. And so, you know, delving into rabbit holes, and, you know, if anyone knows out there, the very nature of that sort of hobby, whether it's a job, whether it's just purely for one's personal pleasure, matters not a fuck. But you do get sidetracked, you know, down other little gnarly bits of said, well, rabbit warrens, can't speak. So yeah, I also, you see, I'm not sure how I'll go about making a separate channel, because I would like to do one a bit more spiritual. Like, you know, I like reading tarot, so I mean, I'm new to it, but I'm enjoying it. So I've been doing a few readings for family, friends, um, you know, a few here and there. I took them to my mum's birthday, actually, my mum and my stepdad's birthday at the weekend, and I did 7 readings, I believe, if I remember correct. 2 were for myself, or 1 for the collective, 1 for myself, and, you know, the other 5 were other people's. And, you know, they said they were good cards and a good reading, and, you know, they told me their personal take on it, and they said, all of them, you know, I'm not blaming, no, say 4 of them, because the last one that I did was, he had a broad accent, I can't remember his name, but yeah, I couldn't really tell. Got a poker face. I mean, I asked him, and he said, yeah, you know, but yeah, a bit skeptical. So I would like to possibly do, you know, just share tarot as well. I've got too many hobbies, really, not enough time, not enough hands and fingers, and so that being said, so enough about me. I don't know if anyone else out there is feeling just uneasy, slightly anxious, tired, but with a real busy mind, like, and so, anyway, enough of the waffle. So, as you can see, before I get started, I will just share, in case you didn't notice, I have my very best overcoat on this evening. As soon as I'm trying to back on money, carbon footprint, yeah, I'm joking about that. But that being said, you know, I'm trying not to use it, the heating, unless absolutely necessary. And that can only be a good thing, you know. Yeah, so I have my dressing gown on because I am absolutely freezing. Like, you know that. Please, if you are interested in any of the topics and more, you know, I'm a very open-minded, fingers in all sorts of pies individual. Some say possibly scatty, chaotic, but that's them. And seeing as it's my shoes I'm coming from, well, I don't see it as a problem, you know. So, yes. A disclaimer as well, just before we get into the nitty gritty, symptomatic shit. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a naturopathic doctor, not a nurse, not a general practitioner, nor do I claim to be. nor would I even want to be. The way I see it is, I've never gone to the doctors and been cured of anything. More to the point, near enough every single person that I know, personal and other, has come across, been affected by, the big C word. And I just, to make a point, it don't matter what cancer it is, breast cancer, bowel cancer, brain cancer, skin cancer. It's a mutated cell. What does that mean, Kenley? That means if you or someone you know has been diagnosed recently, or, at some point in the past, it means that their homeostatic chemical pH level is acidic. How do I know this? Well, we sorted it, I know earlier than before first year secondary school. So mine would have been Ripley Academy, which is what it's called now. Pardon me. So, yeah, basic science, first year science. So, base chemicals, you've got acid and alkaline. Acid burns and breaks down matter. Alkaline soothes and regenerates and also hydrates, whereas acid dehydrates. And so, by knowing this and knowing about diffusion and osmosis, one can know and keep track of and maintain their body homeostasis and, maintain good health, awareness. I mean, health is wealth. So, and trust me when I say, I've been spending all sorts of hours just researching about my health, so I can take responsibility of my health for me, and also, anyone who may want to know me, or does know me, or, but they're possibly crazy if, they're at a point in their life where they're like, oh my God, I miss that Yelnick. Might just have to call in and see her ass. So yeah, I would probably advise you that maybe, possibly, you could need, dare I say, therapy. Anyway, enough of the fucking about, eh? Yeah. So I think I mentioned that I had poor circulation, basically. It wasn't poor circulation. The establishment calls it Raynaud's disease. Dis-ease. What does that mean? It means that parts of you, or all of you, metaphysical and physical and everything in between, is not at ease, uneasy, uncomfortable, dissatisfied, and yeah, that's what that means. So yes, Raynaud's. So following on from that, I also had, like very often, it didn't really have to be cold, this is how freaky it is. Foxy Frost. Yeah, so my nose would always be cold. And my lips sometimes, like I say, it wouldn't have to necessarily be cold. Most people would be warm. You know, not all the time. Majority though. And that could be summer, even abroad. All that type of shit. And so, I remember it. I remember it happening to me. The sort of numb lips. As a teen, it was the earliest that it ever happened. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't think 1 second that it could be anything to do with my health or lack thereof or something that's, you know, a bit, let's look into that sort of thing, you know. So, just didn't say anything. I suppose I was a little invalidated as a child, and I never really wanted to seem over dramatic, oversensitive, although I possibly did come over like this, and I did act like this, and you know, but I was a child or young adult, and so, you know, not passing any blame. The only power I've got is to take responsibility, and I will do that all day, all night. All right, I will do that shit, but I'm not paying for the rest of my life. You see, paid my dues. I owe it to myself though, and I owe it to my baby girl, who is our future. In context, she's my whole world's future. And just know, my babe, I don't think you'll be watching this, but I just want to put it out there, you know. I love you, darling, more than life itself. I hope you know that. And that will never change. Even death will never change that fact. It's probably air cue to think, for fuck's sakes. You know. Anyway. Yes, I'm smoking a roll up. Just, you know, in case there's any square ones out there. So yes, it used to interfere with being able to speak, because it would sound like I was drunk, and, you know, even the lead up to going to Baby Regal or Ripley Fair, or, you know, when I used to drink, even before I smoked, you know, cannabis, you know, I didn't drink a lot, ever. In fact, I used to hate it. You know, I only used to do it, how sad's this, right? I only used to do it to fit in, which is something I've never ever mastered. But now, I'm not sure if I want to be honest. Because if that's normal, then I'm a crackpot, fucking crazy me. Nice to meet you. So yeah, it interfered with being able to talk properly. Like, if it was cold and I'm waiting for a bus or, you know, seeing somebody that I know, I would always be conscious of it, and it would give me really bad anxiety. Nobody ever said, you know, have you been drinking or anything? You know, it was pretty obvious I am, but hi. Have you had some tea? Can you press a thumbs up for me? And I don't know if I'd see it anyway, but yeah, if you could you put a thumbs up for me? If you don't mind. And or a thumbs down, you know, it can be a thumbs down as well, I'm not bothered, but I'm alright with that, you know. Anyway, I'm very good at losing my train of thought. It's not difficult for me to get like side, front, back and up, down tracked, really. So, I was on the Raynaud's and numb lips, feet and hands. Yeah, I remember. Cool, thank you, I appreciate that. So, yeah, along with my, you know, my nose getting really cold and my lips and the Raynaud's, which I don't know whether this affected anyone else the same who has experienced Raynaud's, but it used to affect like my knees. They would be purple and blue. My legs would sometimes be like bloodless almost, like, you know, they were white. And it didn't look all white, not one bit. So, but I always had pink hands, like all the time. Like, nah, I know my knuckles look a bit pink. I suppose my hands are a bit cold, but they're not numb. They're not numb. You know, thank God them days are over. So I reckon that's falling a bit. Yeah, try and get it in the middle. So, I also noticed, and I've had this since I can remember, but with autoimmune, it's very common and very, I would say, intriguing, because there's usually a rheumatoid factor that goes, it's like comorbid, if you like, and so is having several, you know, autoimmune disorders at one time. Yeah, but still, you know, allergies and food intolerances, from what I've learned, and I don't know you, obviously, on a personal level, but from what I've learned myself, it means that your lymphatic system is slowing down. Maybe could benefit from a detox. I've said this in previous videos, but just in case you know, there's people out there that didn't know, that your lymphatic system is your immune system. And so we all hear about blood tests this and blood tests that, this test here, this test there. You never hear about anything to do with, you know, the lymphatic system. So what is the great lymphatic system? Well, if the blood feeds you on a cellular level, then the lymphatic system is what? The other side of that said same coin. So it's your waste disposal and rubbish removal, clean up system. And so, you start, as that gets backed up, and I'm not saying that you personally are or anyone else who's out there, I've experienced this myself, and this is what causes disease, you see. It can start as simple as anxiety. So you might have struggled with anxiety since you can remember, since being a child. This could have been, I know, doing a bit of, sort of face-to-face research and asking people, that there's a lot of people that I know of, not very intimately closely, but since the corona have been put on benzos, nightmare prescription drugs. Yeah, exactly. And so it's basically what you could say that anxiety is a undercurrent, like all the time, or a niggling feeling or sense of doom, worry, or something that's up and coming that you've got to be ready to defend yourself or your family against, or whether that could be, because it was, in my opinion, what I've seen, and a lot of people agree, it was a pandemic, and yeah, everything says that to me, but people just, well, indoctrination is being told certain things, whether it's about your body and your health, about what's expected of you, and social, morals, or there's some shuffling and banging going on next door in their cellar. That's haunted, Yeah, cool. No worries, darling. Thank you for popping in, and you take care, yeah? Oh, so yes, that is obviously a different subject to what this video is about. So that being said, I'll recalibrate my train of thought. So I was on about the pink hands and feet. So they always, I would say, like, even when they were cold, they were burning. But it was always at night time. My thighs would as well, constantly. So my feet and my thighs, they were pink and burning. I remember thinking to myself, it felt very much like a sunburn, or like a chemical, chlorine type chemical burn, because I used to suffer with that really bad. So and that showed that I'd got immune system weaknesses, along with, from, I can't remember how old I was when I got brought my first pet, indoor snuggly type pet, which was Tigger, my Persian blue smoke boy, bless him, who's in heaven now, over Rainbow Bridge. So yeah, possibly before that, I always had, without fail, swollen lymph nodes, which were always on my neck. So they're lymph nodes, which are glands that deal with toxins and metabolic waste, and they're basically like the portals, doorways, to detoxify your body. And, you know, this needs to be a daily thing, you know. It's your temple. It's, you know, it's the car, the shell, you know, that we have to blip about in from A to B on this, you know, in this realm. And so, you know, and my granddad used to always say, and I love him, I'm looking at his photo now, you know, if you want that pair of hands or pair of legs, them pearly teeth, not so now. But if you want them to look after you, my gal, you've got to look after them. And so I came to realise what was possibly obvious to others, but me being me back then, you know, I just loved all his little they were like sort of puzzles, you know, little sayings and things. Just really fond of him. And it, when he used to tell stories, and yeah, great Luke. Anyway, so yeah, basically time is money, and what you invest in, good, bad, meh, is what you're going to get out. So, pretty, you know, logical to say, well, makes sense, doesn't it, really? And so that's what I've been spending a lot of time on, my time. Yes, coming up for 4 years, I believe, you know, on and off of detox. And I'm currently on a detox now. At my mum's party though, I fell off the wagon, and fell off the wagon in a big way. I did. I knew about it the next day. Previous to that, I'd been lazy, couldn't be asked to go to the shop a few blocks away because it was cold and I feel, you know, just shit, don't want to see anyone. And so I'd run out of coconut milk, and sometimes I shouldn't, because of what it does to me. You know, we see coconut milk is all well and good if you got it unpasteurised, raw, you know, organic, and you know, so people need to wake up and realise convenience food and drink and, you know, confectionery and consumables, we sacrifice trust, corporations, which means dead, you know. Sort of dead nation, just dead, a dead entity. So spend money wisely. It's the most valuable thing you have to give yourself, your loved ones, your children. You know, plenty of times I wish I could redo certain things, not just for my benefit, for my daughters, But we know it's not possible. The only thing we can do is, if we're sorry about something, whether that's hurting someone's feelings. Personally, you know, I never do that intentionally, but it'd be ridiculous and wrong to say that, you know, I'd never, have never, will never. You know, it's part of the human condition. So, you know, it just helps to be self-aware and be able to observe, not absorb, and always, you know, be coming from the heart, in love, you know, for the greater good, not just for my benefit, or not just for no one's benefit, but for the greater good. So, yeah, it's the only investment. Another thing my granddad used to say is, what good would it be, my gal, to be the richest man in the graveyard? You can't take it with you. Not that. The only value that transcends this realm is experiences and knowledge. And true knowledge comes from experience. I don't drive, but I suppose it's a bit like, you know, you can pass your test, like I say in previous videos. You can pass your driving test, but that doesn't make you a good driver. Only experience makes you a good driver in all weathers, all different cars, all different scenarios, different routes. So yeah. So yes, like the sunburn, burning. I started getting night sweats. You know, the doctor said I was going through or something like the pre-menopause, something like that, going through change. I tried, you know, this is like the most recent time I went to the doctors. Well, you got to give him a go, haven't you? Bless him. Really? It's not that I don't really trust doctors anymore. I'm learning to trust myself. I mean, it can only be good. Win. That's the way I see it. It's like an ability, like to respond, it's an ability to, you know, step up to the mark. And seeing as, you know, we've got Saturn in like one of the major planetary, energetical, I don't know if it's conjunctions, but, pardon me, yeah, Saturn is about karma, so you reap what you sow, and all that. So what else? Yeah, the doctor said I was going through premenopausal phase symptoms or process, whatever you want to call it. So I said to him, well, if it's just a change, let's hope I change into something dead good this time. And I was thinking like a unicorn maybe. Nah. Jokes aside though, I'm through with the suppression, the suppressive medicine, the verbal suppression, the emotional suppression the acne suppression. I mean, geez, do I gotta go on with this shit? Because the way that this shit is going down, it's like a ticking fucking time bomb, you know? And like, we're on 11:59 o'clock, people. You're gonna blow clock. So, we ain't got long. And people are walking around with, you know, that much junk, toxins, chemicals, you know, metabolic waste. I mean, I was one of them, you know. I've got more than my toe in here, you know. I jumped in feet first, deep dived, you know, and I'm making progress. I'm pulling myself out of that hole, and trust me, it's way more difficult than just getting in to the fucking yeah. So when your immune system is clogged up, backed up, full of shit, because that's what it is, you're a walking, talking, full of shit, talk shit, you walk, say you walk, but the walk's bullshit. When you're backed up and full of that shit, you can't see past that shit. And, you know, not pointing the finger, because I understand and I understand more to the point, and I'm going to overstand eventually, you know. So work in progress. So yeah, my periods started getting really irregular, missing a few here, missing a few there, spotting in between, still getting the major PMT, you know, all the lovely shit. Started getting, yeah, that's it. Started getting the night sweats, but that progressed. It sort of gradually became more prevalent after the vertigo, because that was another symptom. Vertigo, like dizziness, and feeling lightheaded. I had this for ages and ages and just ignored it because, you know, I feel invalidated. Didn't want to be a pain in the arse. Didn't want just to pop a pill because, you know. And so I just struggled on and tried to ignore it, hoping that it would go away. Repression, you know. Sort of like going up to it and whatever that shit is, you know, pushing it. Real fucking brutally pushing it back down. And thinking, that's it. Job's a good one. Sort of shit, but yeah. I know different now. And that's what we call wisdom. The shit that you swap for your youth. I wish I knew I was opted into that. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway. So, yeah, it wouldn't just be an issue for, you know, if I got up too quick, let's say. But that would also happen, you know, intermittently, I would say, you know. And then it progressed. And it progressed to the point that I could be sitting here, you know, with my daughter, you know, and I would get this like tinnitus ringing, and it would get louder and louder and louder and louder, and then I'd go dizzy. I knew that it could be possibly something more sinister then, but I didn't do anything about it. In a really bad mindset, toxic, with these sort of issues, whether it's metaphysical, spiritual, emotional, thought form, equal, it manifests. Everything happens in spirit, in the ether, in the unseen, which is the most of everything that we can't even comprehend, see, feel, possibly. Some can. So yeah, the untangible, inconceivable. So that then progressed. Every time I would have a vertigo episode, it was always paired hand in hand, with the profuse sweating, and by profuse, I didn't just get this upon exercising. I found more and more that it could be just set off by just random, like a episode of anxiety that would, quite frankly, often come out of like nowhere, but still I could feel that shit, possibly being that out of tune with reality, what was real to me, me, the real me, health, the lack of, all that. I was like so suppressed on fucking so many levels, like, and with all them devils, like, real, on some real shit. And so, anytime I did have to exercise, whether that was just cleaning the dog shit up off my garden, cleaning the tiles in the bathroom, dusting, hoovering. I've got laminate floors everywhere. The only place that there are carpets is going up the stairs and the landing and my daughter's bedroom. And so there was a lot of, work to be done in the floors downstairs, because I've got a big dog. For those who don't know, which is possibly all of you, his name's Donny Dog, after Donnie Darko, because he's like a lovable rogue, stroke demon, ADHD type dog with, a beautiful, cute baby face, like, with the flaps and everything. He's just adorable. The reason he's not in the room now, though, he always thinks the world revolves around him, and he'll go and eat his biscuits, and it like cancels out the microphone, and so yeah. Plus he knocks everything flying, because he's like Alex kid. jumping about. So, yeah, I'd be wet through. I'd literally be wet through with sweat. And I'd be able to feel the beads of sweat. You know, I'd be able to feel them like just running down my body. And it was, you know, I just felt dirty, unclean. I just felt just really self-conscious. There was no way of hiding it. My clothes would be wet through. In fact, there were several times with my dad's, because usually I go to my dad's every Monday to have a family tea with them. I haven't been for a while, some good few months now, because I'm in detox, and I don't know why, but I feel a little bit more distracted, and possibly, you know, well, I know I wouldn't be able to go to my dad's and smell a cooked dinner, like all my favourite foods and my favourite people. I won't be able to go in there and smell that chicken and leave not falling off the wagon. And so, you know, I've had my family say, like, uncountable times, well, one meal won't hurt you, but it does though. Like, for anyone watching or that comes across this video, at the end of the day, you don't want to take for the rest of the life that you've got when you realise that detox does you the world of good. I mean, you know, it's just that. Let's have a look. Hiya. Yeah. So, did it go okay? I hope it went okay. I don't know how long I've been on here waffling on, but so hang on, where did I get up to? Okay, so yeah, pouring with sweat. Good. No, it's fine. Life goes on. That's what they say, you know. And who'd want it to stop? Not me, you know. So we have to go with the flow of the inner chi, energy. So anyway, nice to have you back, darling. So anyway, I digress. I will carry on. So yeah, there was no hiding from the fact that I was sweating, you know. Sometimes it wouldn't even be for any reason. There'd be no obvious cause, you know. It would just happen random, out of the blue, without warning. And I had to leave the table on many occasions and sit, you know, like on the doorstep in the freezing. And just beads of sweat were running into my eyes. And, you know, the pH of my tears, in fact, well, the sweat, sorry. I wish I'd have tested the pH because, you know, I mean, many of the beads of sweat pouring down my head went into my eyes, right, consequently, because they were just that much. My skin was greasy from purging, you know, no, that was in detox. So yeah, I do get greasy. Yeah, I've got greasy skin now. You see, I've got loads of spots from my milk binge, if you like. You know, so yeah, my clothes were wet through. My hair even. I can remember. It just got to the point where my hair was that unmanageable that it don't matter, you know, how much water I drunk, how clean I was, what shampoo I used, nothing, you know, like my hair would be greasy even before, you know, the next day after washing it. I started to get body odour, you know, nothing like majorly bad. Yeah, yeah, I know, same. I thought autoimmune, well, um, I know what autoimmune was. I thought lupus was something that people of melanated skin got, but it's not. I've got lupus. I've got vitiligo. Um, you know, I had brittle bones. You know, I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but Hashimoto's, I've had, you know, look it up if you're interested, or if you'd like me to do a short video on what it is, symptom wise, I can do that. So Hashimoto's is a thyroid, which is part of your endocrine system and your lymphatic system. Yeah, yeah. Tell me about it. Well, I sort of gaslit myself, as in, you know, I was saying before you came back, darling, and joined this live stream, that I was just, I didn't know what was wrong. And nobody, you know, I sort of verbalised these symptoms that I was getting, and all of them just seemed random, and they all just like didn't seem to tie in or link up with anything. I couldn't really see any, you know, pathogens, anything that, you know, sort of came to the forefront of my mind that could have triggered anything off. And like I say, the previous symptoms I mentioned was the premenopausal symptoms, which I know not to be, it's not true now, you know. I got told for years and years ago, when I did put my trust in doctors, I've got a hormone imbalance, I've got, you know, a chemical imbalance in my brain. And you know, the honest truth is, I probably had a chemical imbalance, not just in my brain, everywhere, because I used to be a recreational drug user, you know, and it's no secret. And I am, you know, convinced that this is not going to have helped my situation. But I was in an abusive relationship, you know, and I'd been in several. And so I was already there with this toxic mind, this like toxic self-talk. I had a lot of shit that went on at school. You know, I was sexually abused when I was 4 or 5. The only thing with the blood test though, you see, this is where I ran into problems, and this is why it takes a lengthy process. Like, you know, and I'm not lying or exaggerating when I say this, but it can take several years. I've read and heard people say 7 years it took them to get a diagnosis. I didn't have that long. I really didn't have that long. You know, 4 years ago, that Christmas 4 years ago, I was in renal failure. I had no energy. Everything, every time I ate, I had to sleep it off. Whether I'd ate or not, it had come to 3 o'clock, which is like the school run time. You know, like, I couldn't keep my eyes open. The chronic fatigue, chronic meaning, you know, it just, like, yeah, you're okay, or managing 1 minute, the next minute, you know, it's like, sort of hit you like a freight train, like out of seemingly nowhere. And so blood tests only show the part of your biological structure that feeds you on a cellular level. And so what's the opposite to that coin? Is your lymphatic system. And so you can see lymphatic system fluid when you have a spot, when you get an infection, you know, pus and stuff like that. That's lymphatic fluid. And so I've never had a doctor test that, you know, nor would I say it's really necessary, perhaps. But yeah, the doctors use like a healthy range for average, right? Which is all well and good, but there's going to be people either side of that scale. That for them, you know, it's yeah. Yeah, you see, because you see, with children, right, we're all children, we never stop being children. And so because we have been led by our parents whom we love, you know, we only get one mum and dad, guardian, whatever, you know, and the special people and that, but they've been indoctrinated. That basically means they've been told the same thing, whatever the establishment has saw fit to feed the children, the families and the masses by way of media, education, like consumerism, monetary system, you name it. I mean, even money, right? What is money really? I mean, it's based on electricity, like the flow, the charge, a current, an investment, or a banking system, you know, liquidation. It's like you're just not taught both sides of the story. You know, I know it sounds, I mean, it's so simple, but it is that. It is that. And so you wouldn't tell your children, or even, you know, an alien that's visiting us, you know, if you know better that it takes a man and a woman to produce a baby, no more, no less, straight down the middle, 50-50, and it's got to be that way, and that is natural law, the sovereign law, which I and we should all live under. Also, that is another thing people don't always know, common law. You know, people often refer to themselves as persons. And that could also mean, if you have a look what that means, and it's all jargon, it's meant to confuse us, mislead us, keep us in the dark, you know, and so it just doesn't make sense when you look at it like that. So, you know, it doesn't matter whether, you know, these transgender, whatever, right? It doesn't matter, because you are still what you're born. End of. No more, no less. And, you know, that's got to be a beautiful thing. Because even though I look this way, even though I've, you know, I'm designated to a pole opposite of, you know, my divine counterpart, that being male, right, you know, is the key and I'm the lock, you know, to a portal to create a world, you know, a life. So I'm more than just a woman. I'm my dad and my mum. And so with a little work and self-reflection, self-discovery and health discovery and wealth discovery, what life means to me, the changes I've made from autoimmune symptoms, because that's all they are, the symptoms. Same as cancer is a symptom. A symptom of what? A symptom of biological pH imbalance. What's pH? Power to hydrogen. It measures an electrical conductive cellular flow or resonance, or like, you know, as in electricity, bioelectricity. It shows how efficient and effective your body is or not at that, you know, process, which is to extract energy, you know, or extract hypoglycemia. I couldn't think then what it was, but hypoglycemia, I didn't know hypoglycemia. I thought I knew what that was, but then restrictions. Um, she, you know, nature always takes the shortest, effective, quickest route. Not quickest as in rushing, because love is patient, but just, you know, is very efficient. Doesn't go all around the arses to get to, you know, like a little pathway. You know, it goes sort of as the crow flies, if you like, or as electricity would, the fastest, you know. And so nature never exerts any energy on the basis of just because it can. It might think it should, everyone else is, you know. I mean, we do things for fun, you know. That's it's part of growing up that's like forgotten almost. Like, I think that's what the Bible means, you know, to see with eyes of like that of a child, you know, just that magical wonder, the wondrous. I mean, you know, I mean, let's face it, the big issue I've got with doctors, they only treat symptoms. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We've all took paracetamol or whatever, you know, pain treatment it is to get through that day, to get through that meeting, to just get rid of that headache, you know. But when do we put the painkillers down and actually say, what's causing the headaches? Come on, doc, what's causing the headaches? And believe you me, with I had a long-term clinical depression, like on some real shit. You know, there were many times in my life that, like materialistic speaking, I had everything I needed and some, you know. There was nothing that I was without that I didn't need, you know. I was well cared for and well looked after, warm, fed, sheltered, and, you know, there was no reason why I should have felt that way. But, you know, even as a little child, I can remember writing a suicide note. It wasn't in words, it was in like stick figures, as best it were, like a pictogram thing, if you like. And that's a horrible thing as a child to hear your child say, you know, without a doubt, even though it was me, you know, like verbalising this to my dad, crying about it and not really being able to tell him why. It comes from autoimmune. The cause of depression, I believe, and I'm still learning, so I could be wrong, I'm willing to be wrong all day, and some, right? But it's to do with the parathyroid. That ties in with your endocrine system, your adrenal glands, which are situated at the top of the kidneys, right? Connected to the kidneys. If you're in a state like a toxic state of fight, flight, freeze. You are in fear, and so it's like a car, so you've got your foot on that pedal for the gas, revving, waiting. There could be another pandemic, there could be another virus, there could be, but we can't just wait to die because something could happen, right? Accept the things we cannot change, and grant me the courage to change the things I can, but also grant me wisdom to notice the difference. The ability to look back on past events and recall, because you are self-aware and you do things in intention and you walk in that intention, to help maintain life, to not stagnate life, to not hinder any spiritual growth for any living being, and plants included, you know, and to help, if possible, other souls to grow. First and foremost, my own. That's the duty that we've got to everybody, you know, like that surround us, that we care about. You know, we don't want to be a hindrance, we don't want to be, you know, someone holding them back. So really, we're all free spirits, and we can bring out the best in each other and ourselves, and be the best that we can be, humanly possible. But every time I look at the medical establishment, you know, it's foreign to them now. And it's horrible to say, but, you know, they don't want you to get better. You know? They don't want you to get better. You know, people have said to me, well, my uncle, my auntie, my mum have had cancer. And yeah, chemotherapy is radioactive. And what does that do? Well, it's a carcinogen. Like, it causes cancer. So, you know, what makes you bad makes you better? I don't think so. What is possibly happening is they are blasting that lymphoma, that cancer, that tumour, that lump of mutated cells, mutated by acid, that's interstitial acidosis. That's when you've got it in between your cells. This is how deep it goes. This is the same as it was for me. You know, I had tumours growing in my arm. I had 2 in my breast. Yeah, it was getting bad. Really bad. I'd got brain fog. My memory, I felt like I was getting dementia. You know, just memory issues, personality issues. You know, there was several times that I experienced, I believe it's called a cytokine storm, where if you've been through, you know, I've been on this roller coaster since leaving my ex. To be on the safe side, I'll say 7 years ago, at the very least, I've been going through this roller coaster scenario with my daughter and myself, and with my dad and my stepmom, initially brought up by my ex, right? I was having symptoms since then. I had protein in my urine when I was pregnant with Lacey. I'd got ketones in my urine. I had got I believe it was nitrates, traces of blood, but, you know, they said on several occasions, you know, it's possibly this and that, and basically got no fucking clue. I nearly lost Lacey on 2 occasions. Nobody even said that the symptoms I was going through could point to lupus, and that makes it very dangerous to carry a child. Most don't make it full term, and some a lot less than that, as in, you know, miscarrying. And I am going to be bold, and I am going to say they've got blood on their fucking hands, you know. And anybody that wants to say otherwise, like, come on then, like, see your argument, because I'm all about that, you know. We can't have one without t'other. That's my dad and my mother, same as you. You know it's true. We like to rhyme. We've got no time. It's ticking on. We've got to get back. Moving on. Right. Anyway, so yeah. It started there. You know, is the earliest time I can remember in my life that I was getting ailments and things. But I didn't realise until leaving that, because there was like abuse. I wish I could say it was just verbal, but it was like emotional, physical, sexual, mental, material. It was financial, everything. So it really put me through the ringer, you know. I was with him 11 years. 11 years. 3 of them it took me to really know I wanted to leave him. And it wasn't that I wanted to. Sort of, you know, I look back and I think I wish I did want to, but I wasn't brave enough. I wasn't responsible. I didn't know, you know, it was like everything in my life and my mindset was you made me do this, and you said that, and that made me, and it was always someone else, you know. And I had to wake up. I had to come back down to earth, and when I did, it was profound, and it hurt. It made me realise that there's only been one person that's there, thick and thin and in between, good and bad and in between. And who the fuck is that cunt, eh? It's me. It's me, yours truly. You know? And so, yeah, we played half and half each. Good or bad. You know. So needless to say, I brought out the worst in myself by being with him, and brought out the worst in him also. You know, no matter what happens, me and my ex, we created my daughter, and like I left with the whole world, but not just my whole world, our future. Mine is Lacey's, you know. It's a sad fact. All this shit I've been through just took me away from being a mum, you know. And so when that became a reality, when I'd come back down to earth again, and I was sat with myself, and when the dust settled after the whirlwind of not knowing what the fuck had happened, what just happened, you know, just shell-shocked, I started to realise that the self-loathing, which had been like a totalitarian tiptoe, a slow descent into like just sheer hell. I started lifting my head out of that shit pit, and it took years. It took basically them 7 years of, you know, the penny dropping. Oh, thank you. But we can only be positive, you know, as good people. And, you know, that's like, we've all got good in us, we've all got bad in us, you know, the shadow side. But at the end of the day, I don't know whether it was my granddad taught me, you should always leave people better than when you find them, my love, if you can, you know, wherever possible. So that's like one up with a smile, or you've made them laugh. You know, it might not be like a belly laugh and a, you know, like all body tickling laughter, hysterical type, you know, medicine sort of laughter, but you've left them better than when you found them. And so that's, you know, coming from abundance. Um, well, that's the way I like to look at it. So yeah, and then, you know, it's, you've brought something to the table. You've brought something to that spirit, you know, as opposed to left it in deficit. And so, you know, it's like what we're doing to the world. It's symbiotic. Every relationship, to relate on shit in a relationship in relation to whatever it is, whatever, you know, matters not. But, you know, we have to be aware, first and foremost, that when we appear to look at other people's behaviour, you know, positive or negative, to actually see that behaviour and to know the mindset is empathy, which is something we're taught, or should be taught. You know, it's not just something that you acquire. The same as I've learned through experience. You know, my dad said to me, well, you know, you're 40 this year, you know, you should have some self-confidence. Yeah, you know, empathy, well, it's profound. Empathy is what connects us all. Empathy is something to relate on, you know, as opposed to the Luciferian, isolate, dog eat dog, it's everyone for himself. You know, it's not that way. Nature didn't get that way. It doesn't progress that way. Cogs in a machine. If you're a horologist, right, and you're building clocks and you've got one rusty clog, the whole fucking device is kaput. You know? Yeah. 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 And you know, love is so, like, what is love? This is, you know what got me out of self-loathing? The love for my daughter. And like, I literally had to start saying to myself, because I was looking in the mirror and I was hating myself. You know, like I'd lost my dog grooming job because I had to leave my husband. I'd left my home. You know, I'd lived there with him for at least 5 years. And I was a qualified dog groomer. I was self-employed. I could barely do my job, but, you know, at one point it was doing well. It was getting somewhere. You know, I'd got a little salon, a little, you know, book of clientele, and I thought I made a difference. I loved the job. I loved the dogs. You know, I felt that they were my pack, you know. If you've got dogs out there, I just want to put this out there. If you own a dog, or if you're blessed, should I say, if you are blessed to have an earth angel that we call a dog in your life, well, you know, like, groom, not it, but groom them yourselves. Look at animal psychology, dog psychology. That's not about bribing by food and blackmailing the dog, which is what dog training is with, you know. Yeah. Oh, I love cats. I love all animals, you know. But yeah, cats. Cats are very protective, aren't they? And, you know, in your line of work, you know, as in your channel, oh, you know what? That's beautiful. Yeah. You know, when you're doing right by nature, symbiotically when, you get a cat, any pet of a good age like that, you know, you hear of the opposite sometimes, and people that have looked into the pet's eyes, like, that there's life in there, and, there's a future and still life in the old dog yet, as the saying goes. And, so that's a good life. I believe cats have, is it 5 years to our every one, and dogs have 7, or is it the other way round? Oh, oh. Well, we all get under the weather, and we, what are we? We're not solid beings, really, when you think about it. We're separate little atoms, photons, light beings. And so, whatever shape we're in, cat, dog, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so you knew what I meant and what I was getting at, yeah. I mean, just look at a lot of people that don't like share an intimate past or present relationship with a cat. That's also another four-legged earth angel, you know. They are ignorant in the fact that they think, cats use you, they're pathological, they aren't emotional, they're not, empathetical. And all I've got to say is, if that's really how you feel, you ain't known any cat. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. But cats, if, like, it's that love, and love is respect, and respect is love, and you have to earn that. Yeah, they are, they are. But, they're them pains in the butt of what make life worth living. And I don't know about yourself, but I've found usually the ones that give you the most grief, as in, like personality, like massively colourful, exuberant personality. It's it's usually, it's not for personal issues. It's usually because, society, or your family surroundings possible for that. Either way, I've left that in the past. I'm at this sort of place where if my dog don't like you, and if you're moaning about dog hair, then don't come to my house, because it's my dog's house. More, you know. Oh, yeah. Well, it's that like immense level of love. You, that's your thought. It's like the alternating current, the man and the female. One to know the one to know the one. It flows and it flows, undyingly. Who you possibly could feel very similar to, because, like your channel. is knowing that we're all spiritual beings having a human,